Dedede's next review. Of course. No!
But, Waluigi, in order to get someone to play this game, we need to find someone who reviews games. How do you expect someone to review it when we don't have any more friends left?
You idiot. Do you think I am unaware of the situation? If we don't have any friends left, then we need to find an enemy.
How I like to sleep.
Dedede! Wake up!
Mario? Is that you?
Yes, Dedede. I think you need to find a video game to review. You haven't made a review in, a long time, since last year.
Alright, I'll go make a review. Now, what video game should I review? Oh, I know what I'm reviewing today. Yeah. Wait, what's happening? Oh, where am I? Where am I?
Well, if it isn't King Dedede, an old adversary of mine. Welcome. I apologize for having to teleport you here. I mean, I know that you probably wouldn't want to come to my lair otherwise, but enough talk. I need to review a game. Since I know you haven't reviewed a game in a long time, I want you to review this one. I know how much of a Crash fan you are, and I know how nostalgic this game is. That is all. We will speak again.
Where'd he go? I think that was just a hologram. Well, today on King Dedede Reviews, we're going to be taking a look at Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. Time to pick up the controller again and play. All aboard the old school express. Woo woo!
Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back.
A little over a year after Naughty Dog released their smash hit, Crash Bandicoot, they came out with a sequel called Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. Today, I'm gonna be seeing if this game holds up better than the original. So when we last left off on Crash Bandicoot, Cortex was falling to his supposed doom. But he survives the fall and finds out what was powering his machinery.
Crystals. Of course.
1 year later, and Cortex is seen with his new henchman, Dr. N. Jin, as they plot on how to find the remaining 25 crystals. But they don't have any friends left on the surface, so Cortex suggests a different method.
If we don't have any friends left on the surface, then we need to find an enemy.
Obviously, that enemy is Crash Bandicoot. And here we meet Crash's younger sister, Coco Bandicoot, as she asks him for a new battery for her laptop. Right away, you get to play a little demo level, and obviously you can use the D-pad to move around, but something new is you can use analog support. Oh my god, I love analog support. Now obviously the X button jumps, the square button spins, and all that from the original. However, in this game, pressing the R1 button will allow Crash to duck, and pressing it while moving will allow Crash to slide. Pressing it in the air will allow Crash to do a belly flop, and you can even combine it with a spin attack, which allows you to do a moving spin. Overall, it's pretty smooth. You still jump and spin on baddies, and you've got Aku Aku to help you and protect you. So Crash follows the jungle path and tries to find a new battery for his youngest sister Coco's laptop, when all of a sudden, he's warped to a strange room and greeted by an old adversary. So, essentially, what Cortex says to Crash is that he apologizes for, what's happened in the past, and he realizes that, quote-unquote, a new threat is upon them. And he tricks Crash into gathering crystals for him. Now, the Warp Room allows you to play any of the 5 levels in it at any point in time, and has a save feature. No wonky save system. You get to save whenever the heck you want. And you can even put whatever name you want. And like Cortex said, there's a crystal to be found in every single level. Though they're not really well hidden, they're just kind of lying out in the open. And after beating 5 levels, you can advance to a boss stage and go to a new warp room. There are 5 warp rooms in total. There's the jungle warp room, which, as it sounds, is mostly comprised of jungle levels and river levels. A snow warp room, which is mostly comprised of snow levels and bear riding levels, which replace the hog riding levels of the first Crash game. To the 3rd warp room, which is a sewer-based warp room full of, obviously, sewer levels, and even a couple of Temple Ruins levels, like from the first game. The 4th warp room looks like a mine and is composed of a lot of, strangely enough, levels with bees in it. But you avoid the bees by digging, so I guess I can understand why there's a mine. And the final warp room, where the levels are comprised of futuristic factories in space and even jetpack levels. Ooh, the jetpack levels. Music-wise, this game's soundtrack is catchy as all get out. I can never forget Turtle Woods. Never. This song has always been stuck in my head, and I love it. The music in this game is so amazing. Speaking of amazing, let's segue into the graphics, because holy moly, they look even better than the original Crash Bandicoots. And the original Crash Bandicoot looked amazing. So that just tells you how great this game looks. And there are also bonus levels in order for you to find more boxes. Speaking of boxes, there's a new type in this game, and it's green and mean. It's called the Nitro Crate. Do not touch them, because even the slightest touch, and you will explode. while the game can control really nicely, there's one part that I always dread coming back to, and that is the ice level. You want to know why? The ice physics. They are pretty darn wonky, and it takes a lot of getting used to. It's not so bad whenever they're sporadic in the early levels, but then you start getting super hard platform challenges, and oh my goodness! Whew! This is pretty difficult. Speaking of difficulty, get used to this screen. You're gonna see it a lot. Now, gems do in fact come back in this game. And, like in the original, you have to collect all the boxes in a level to get that level's gem. And after collecting the first gem, firstly you'll see this amazing crash dance, which is pretty darn hilarious in my opinion. But then you'll see another old adversary talk to you. Yes, it is Dr. Nitrous Bria, the creator of the Evolvo Ray, and Cortex's original lab partner from the original Crash Bandicoot. He tries to convince Crash that Cortex is still evil, and that he's trying to create an evil space station and an improved Cortex vortex. And he tells Crash to gather the gems in order to destroy Cortex's plans once and for all. There are even colored gems in this game, which most of them can only be collected by doing some very, very hidden tasks, and even finding this hidden warp room. Even Coco joins the hologram fun as she snoops around Cortex's files on her laptop, and she discovers more and more about Cortex's hidden plans. Now, here comes the spoiler section. I'm gonna be spoiling.
Alright, Fatty, you're no use to us anymore. Time for me to play the game.
Hey, who are you, you little punk?
Wait, this isn't part
Get
of
out
the
of here!
plan.
This is my review! Anyways, time for me to review the bosses. The first boss in this game is Ripperoo, and since we last saw him, he's kind of developed a bit of a Jekyll Hyde personality. Whenever Ripperoo is sane, can't believe I said that, he'll strategically plant TNT crates. But whenever they explode on him, he'll go back to his crazy old self and start planting nitro crates. And what you gotta do is avoid both types of crates, wait for him to stomp on the nitro crate, and spin into him. Do this 3 times, and you'll beat him. Next. The second boss, or I should say bosses, are the Komodo brothers, Joe and Mo. And these guys are pretty darn awesome. I mean, come on, they're Komodo dragons who carry swords. And in essence, what you gotta do is wait for the one brother to stop spinning, and then spin him into the other brother, and avoid the swords that the brother in the middle throws. Do this 3 times, and you'll defeat them. Next. The third boss is Tiny Tiger, who doesn't sound so... Ah! Tiny Tiger. This boss is actually not too bad of a boss, if you know what you're doing. Though he can surprise you very easily. But what you gotta do is trick him into falling onto one of the platforms that is already falling. So, the red platforms. And his big muscles doesn't mean that he's got a big brain. He'll fall right down. Do this 3 times and you'll defeat the monster. Tiger. Next. Now, before going to the 4th boss, Cortex tells you to bring the 20 crystals to Engine. And Crash mistakes Engine for a boss. And thank God he did, because this is the best boss in the game. You see, what you gotta do is you gotta shoot Wumpa Fruit at Engine's weak spots, which are, at first, his hands. Shoot them enough times, and they'll explode. Now you gotta shoot the missile launchers on the robot's back. After shooting the missile launchers and dodging a whole bunch of missiles, he'll fire one last big laser. And what you gotta do is you gotta avoid the dropping platforms and shoot the green. He'll fall out of his cockpit, and he will tell you that Cortex will scold. After collecting the final 5 crystals, Cortex tells Crash to give them to him. But his signal is intercepted by Coco, who reveals that she found out that Cortex is creating a super Cortex vortex, and he needs the crystals in order to power it. So Cortex has been evil the entire time, and now it's up to Crash to defeat him. And now for the final boss, Dr. Neo Cortex himself. You chase him in space, using your jetpack. And while this boss is very easy, I actually find it pretty fun, due to the fact that the music is epic, and it's a final chase. You must hit Cortex 3 times before he escapes, and if you do so, you'll defeat the madman.
You haven't seen the last of me, Crash Bandicoot!
However, if you don't collect all the gems, you'll get the bad
Crash,
ending,
what do you suppose
where
happened
Cortex's
to
Cortex
And what
vortex
about the
is
Cortex
still
vortex?
up there.
It's still up there.
And Crash needs to go back into the warp rooms and get the gems. The good ending, where you collect all the gems, is where Dr. Nitrous Brio powers up his ray and tells Crash to press the button and destroys the Cortex vortex once and for all. Overall, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back is an improvement upon the original in every way. I give this game a 10 out of 10. This is King Dedede, and...
No! Dedede, I was supposed to be able to review the game, take all the credit, and I could have taken over your channel once and for all. Prepare to die, penguin.
Not breathing.
Hey, you! Bye-bye! No!
Whoa! Mario! You saved my life!
Hey, you've done the same for me, Dedede. Well, next time, just don't trust former enemies. Alright?
Alright. Anyways, this is King Dedede,
And Mario,
and we'll see you later.
bye-bye!
Crash, my boy, my boy.
My boy, this peace is what all true warriors strive for.